Silk PLA is great for making aesthetic 3D prints, but did you know there are a few simple changes you can make to get an even shinier surface finish? In today's video, I'm going to show you what settings you need to change in your slicer to achieve this, as well as comparison prints before and after these changes are made. But before that, hi there, I'm Matt, and on this channel I'll be showing you lots of tips and tutorials for improving your 3D printing knowledge and experience. Without further ado, let's get into today's video. So once you're in your slicer, the first thing you want to do is make sure you've changed your filament to a silk filament. So in this case I've changed it to Silk PLA by Bamboo. So the main thing you need to know for the purpose of this video is that if you print Silk PLA hotter and slower, you get a shinier surface finish, and the opposite is true too. So cooler nozzle temperature with faster print speeds, you get a more matte, muted silk finish. This is also applicable to other filaments, so basic PLA is the same, or even matte PLA. I've seen some people print basic PLA faster with a lower print temperature to get a more matte finish. So for the comparison, I'm going to print one hot and slow and one cooler and faster. The settings you want to change in order to get a better silk finish relate to the outer wall. So in this case, under the other layer speed here, outer wall speed by default is 200 millimeters per second. However, for a better silk surface finish, you'll want to change this between 300 to 60 millimeters per second. And for the purpose of this, I'll change it to the lowest value to get the best possible result. So I'll change the outer wall speed to 30 millimeters per second. And the other settings are under the acceleration tab. So the outer wall acceleration, the default is 5,000, but I'll change that to 3,000. And you can also change the default normal printing acceleration from 10,000 to 6,000. These are the only speed settings you need to change. And as I mentioned, the other setting you would consider changing is the printing temperature, which you can find under the filament settings. If you click on the three dots and click on edit, you can see here the nozzle temperature is here set to 230 degrees by default, which is already pretty hot and probably good enough, because Bamboo PLA silk is printed hotter than other silks. However, you can increase this to 240 if you want, but I think 230 is hot enough. So we can now slice this and print it. So you will have an increased print time, obviously, because you've slowed down the print, but it's a worthy trade-off for getting better silk finishes, in my opinion. And then for the comparison, I'm going to print one with default speeds. So I'm just going to reset these outer wall and printing speeds. And then I'm also going to decrease the print temperature to 215 degrees Celsius to get a better idea of what effect the temperature has on the shininess of the print. So if I slice this now, you can see the total print time is 38 minutes compared to the 51 minutes of the slowed down version. So it is a decent increase in print time, but as I said, it's a worthy trade-off. So before printing these two versions and comparing them, there are just a few more things I want to say about Silk PLA. One of them is that Silk PLA is weaker than regular PLA, and this is because of the additives used to make it shiny. This is typically TPU or other elastomers, and because TPU and PLA don't mix amazingly well, this can weaken the material and making it not particularly useful for load-bearing parts or impact parts. So that's why you'll mostly see people using Silk PLA for aesthetic prints or even toys. And the other thing I want to mention is that different filament manufacturers have different shininess of silk. So for instance, this is Sunlu silk, which is not very shiny. I don't know how well you can see on camera, but it's not very shiny at all. It does print great, and I think it does look nice. It's like a gradient rainbow. Whereas this is Bamboo Silk PLA, which you can probably see on the roll is way shinier. If you compare them side by side, the Bamboo one, this blue one, looks way shinier. I think Bamboo Lab Silk is my favorite because it prints great, it looks great, and it's the most shiny that I found. Anyway, let's print these models and hopefully compare their shininess. So I'm not sure how well this will show on camera, but this is the version with the lower temperature and the faster print speed. So it is still kind of shiny. It's not super shiny for Silk PLA. If we compare it to the hotter and slower printing one, again, not sure how well it's showing up on camera, but it is noticeably shinier. I think you can tell. If you do prefer this finish, then you can print it colder and faster. Let me know what you think in the comments below though. I told you there were simple changes, didn't I? Hopefully now you can use these settings to get even shinier silk prints. If you learned something new today, drop a like and a comment on this video. Also let me know if there are any specific videos you'd like to see in the future. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of my new videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye!